very convoluted and it doesn't always transfer over nicely. I have not found any way to do it inside Spark to make internals, so it wasn't even an option. So if you wanted to do covers and internals, you needed to use 2 to 3 different programs until I was like, just do this one style and that's it. But if you want to scale your KDP business, you need to be able to mess around with internals and change them up and then different cover. How do I create book covers and interiors for KDP? And they were asking the best way to do it. And I think going back to, I don't know if there is a best way to do anything on any of these platforms. I know this is where me and Nathaniel start veering off because he is a Adobe fanboy through and through. I tell him to buy stocks all the time. He should own a part of that company. But you are always suggesting the Adobe suites. And I know Spark is a free tool that you talk about. And I think it is great to start. I'll have you talk about it, and then I'll make my suggestion on where I think people should start.
So like Steven said, Spark is a free tool. It's actually web-based as well, so there's no download included. And it will allow you to make KDP covers. It's not the most intuitive thing in the world to actually get it to line up properly, because that is not at all what its purpose is for. It's meant for making like posts on social media and stuff. But there is a way to do it. And I've actually made a video explaining how to do that on YouTube. And so with a little bit of finagling, you can get to use this great editor that can import images and different, it's got a huge library of kind of clip art-esque things that look very clean from the Noun project. Adobe is actually paying for us to use the Noun project, which is really cool, and we can use all of the images that are there inside of the site for free and royalty free as well. So it's cool to sell that commercially and all of that good jazz. So I highly suggest Spark. It takes a little bit to learn, but really the best way to learn Spark is just to go in there and start playing with it. Like I said, I do have videos on YouTube, and if you want to talk to me about Spark, I'm more than happy to do that. I don't use it as much as I used to, so I'm a little rusty on things, but I check it maybe once every month still, and I've been really impressed with some of the updates that I saw last time I was clicking around in there. So that is another thing that I love about it. It's constantly getting updated, which just means cool new features that you're getting for free. So
I might actually be playing around that more than you now, because they just
probably
introduced that cover creator, and I was like, oh, that's interesting. They finally put like a template in here for books. Yeah, I don't know if it was like 2 weeks ago, but it was very recent, and I started clicking around in it. It's not really what you need for KDP, because KDP has front and back, so it's a little different. You got to finagle it. So I don't have a perfect way to like adjust everything, and that's
I don't have
really
any way to
strength.
prove it, but I think that they're aware of us, because there's been timing of things where it's just like
we talk about things, we reach out to them, and then they're like, But it was like, it'd be interesting if we could download the PDF from the. It was like, oh, here you go. And it was like, it was interesting if you could do a PDF download, and then it was like, here's beta, like
new beta.
Well, you reached out to them too to talk about if it could be used for POD.
Commercial.
And I remember you went back
and
forth for them for a while, and I was like, oh, that's interesting.
And they have like a suggestion group that I was a part of for a while. Still part of it, but I used to be in there quite actively.
And they have a lot of great training, more than just like the POD side. I don't think they have any training on that. That's mostly why I asked Nathaniel to put some training together. But they have a ton of training on just like how to promote, how to market, how to use YouTube, not YouTube, but Instagram, Facebook, different platforms.
And a lot of it's native inside of that website as well. So there's some stuff on YouTube, but also just inside with spark.com, there's training and stuff over there. But I don't need to give another sales pitch. I'm not getting paid by them yet. So
someone that actually reached out to us was BookBolt. It's been on my radar for a while. I have not used it because we weren't doing much with KDP. We had some teams of ours working on KDP, the KDP side of our business. We do a lot of bulk research. We find niches, then we double down. KDP is a thing that we go, okay, after we have these things working, KDP is another thing that we add so that we can either go sell directly on KDP or use those books to gain value or add value to other bundles and more serve different customers. So I wouldn't say it's a back burner, but it's something that we have automated where we just give information to the teams, then the teams handle KDP stuff. Now that I'm helping my mother, other people, and it seems like I'm doing a lot more with KDP, BookBolt is a very interesting paid tool that we are looking into. I'm not going to lie and say, oh, I have a ton of experience. This is the greatest thing ever. But All the stuff that I really struggle with, or at least have a very difficult time showing and explaining to other people, is the creating covers and creating internals, because it's not very intuitive to do it either inside KDP, which you can make book covers, but it's extremely limiting. And there's no way to make internals inside KDP's software. You need a third-party option. I was showing how to do it with slides, Google Slides. I was showing you how to do it through documents, but it's just very convoluted and it doesn't always transfer over nicely. I have not found any way to do it inside Spark to make internals, so it wasn't even an option. So if you wanted to do covers and internals, you needed to use 2 to 3 different programs. And I was like, that's very difficult, even for people like my mother that struggle with just computer terminology and opening up all the different programs. It was like almost impossible to start until I was like, just do this one style and that's it. But if you want to scale your KDP business, you need to be able to mess around with internals and change them up, and then different cover creation. So BookBolt is something that I've known about for a while. Neil
Larson. I don't know why I couldn't unmute myself there. Sorry.
Yeah. He actually has a ton of great information. We learned from him years ago when he was starting the merch, and we were learning merch, and then it was just a lot of great information that he helped us with, and we gained a lot of knowledge through him. Now he's moved over to KDP and helping people with KDP. This is his software. Like I said, we've just started using it, but it looks very promising because it allows you to do both internals and covers within the same program, and there's a lot of other benefits inside of it. I was going to do a live over the shoulder, kind of poking through it, but there are certain account things that I don't want to show, so I will be making a separate video to show that information. But if you're looking for, if you're doing KDP and you're looking for a program, I would strongly suggest BookBolt. We'll have the hopefully discounted link down below. I've been talking back and forth with them, so I think I've procured that. So I'll have to go back and double check it. I haven't checked it yet, but I'll be putting that link in the description if you want to check it out. And we'll be having a lot more videos on it. As my mom works with different companies creating journals for them, I'm going to show her how to do it with BookBolt because she struggles with the research and the internals. I think that's a perfect program for her. And then my friend Common, who started playing around with it already, and he's like, oh, this is so much better than how you showed me before, because the way you showed me before sucked. Now this makes it so much easier to do all of these things. And I was like, all right, cool. That will be something that we talk much more about going into this year, is KDP and using BookBolt. As we find other programs, we'll be letting you guys know about it. If you don't want to pay for anything, Spark is a tool that you can use for free.
Yes.
If you followed us for any amount of time, you know that we're very much about the free. That's for we. But as you grow your business, some tools are worth paying for to help speed up your process. We pay for a ton of tools. I am extremely guilty of the shiny object syndrome. I have a ton of tools that some we use for different things, not too much for the POD business because there's nothing really custom catered for the way that we run our business. But I've Frankenstein a lot of tools to make them work for our business and then helping our teams and scaling our business. And I want to ask if anybody knows interesting Shopify tools, definitely let us know. I've been poking around with that and I haven't quite found any that I like. There are some like IP checkers and stuff like that you can find online, but I don't have a good research tool for Shopify other than Google Trends and other programs that we're already using that look at Google, but not specifically for Shopify. Understanding your competition, that's what I'm trying to learn now. So if anybody has a hint on that, definitely leave it in the comments below because I'm very interested in that.
Yeah. The last thing I wanted to say about BookBolt is that I want to poke around in there. So whenever you get that figured out, I haven't gotten to play around with it. So I don't know if that's like a first impression video.
Yeah, maybe me and you could do that together and just jump on there.
Or I can do it myself because I just want to play with art stuff.
Oh,
I don't care about the rest of it. I don't know what's possible. So yeah, we can do a first impression video, and then I'll probably do a video of me like playing around with the actual creator. I don't know.
Ever since you moved to Atlanta, you don't want to do nothing with me. I see how it goes. Even on this Monday video, you're like, I can handle this by yourself. You don't even need to be out there.